The Nigerian Labour Council President, Joe Ajaero, has made a call in Abuja during the 2025 World Teachers' Day celebration. Team, recasting teachers as a collective professionalism, he said Nigeria must invest deliberately in education to rescue the system from decay and reposition teachers for national development. The international theme for the year, recasting teaching as a collective professionalism, resonates deeply with our Nigerian reality. Yet we must confront the foundational crisis that had long bedeviled our educational system, a crisis that had taught teachers on not to do their best and indeed bring problem to the teaching profession. The NLC president described the high teacher-to-student ratio in Nigeria schools, describing it as alarming and counterproductive. He said an average teacher in the country public school handles up to 50 pupils or students, which according to him undermines the learning environment. Ajaero condemned what he described as hypocrisy of society towards teachers, saying Nigeria glorifies them in speeches but impoverishes them in reality. In Nigeria, we have perfected the act of praising teachers to high heavens while starving them on earth. We extol the nobility of the teaching profession, yet reward that very one with dishonor and a show of shame. We acknowledge that teachers hold the key to our nation's future, yet we confine them to the present field with struggle, neglect, and starvation, he lamented. Well, as much as he has reflected that, there's this growing call that Nigerian teachers seem to be deprived and indeed not catered for, especially as it concerns how much they are putting into the country for them to see how they can gain all of that. And that's what we'll be having today on this very lovely edition of Dialogue. We'll be looking at the World Teachers' Day celebration, knowing that it's on the 5th of October every year. And today, Nigerian teachers are indeed celebrating that very one. And that's what we're having as a major discourse today on the show. We'll be looking at the World Teachers' Day, highlighting some of the major concerns raised by the Nigerian Labour Congress President Joe Ajaero in his very speech, really talking about teachers in Nigeria and what needs to be done to ensure that they see the better days of their good work. And that's what we're having as a major one. And to join us, we're being joined now all the way from Abuja by no other person but Mr. Michael Wangwa. Is an educationalist and indeed author of many books as it concerns the teaching profession. And we are indeed having him to join us. Good morning, Mr. Michael Wangwa. Nice to have you on the show.
Good morning. Good morning, Gerard. Good morning, Michael.
Well, yes, just like what the NLC president, Joe Ajaero, said just in his statement to really honor teachers on this very lovely day, World Teachers' Day. Well, he talked about kind of our double standard as it concerns what we say about teachers. We seem to glorify them, but when it comes to helping them out or giving them better pay or rewarding them for their hard efforts, we seem not to do that. And according to our knowledge, we have about 2.4 million teachers, according to the records, in Nigeria. But for me, do you feel Nigerian teachers are better appreciated for their effort, or they are like the NLC president, Joe Ajaero, said, they are in every way not valued for the work they seem to be contributing to this great nation?
Well, I think we can do better, regarding the way we treat teachers in the country. Now, some challenges that teachers face. Number one, poor remuneration. How much is an average teacher paid in Nigeria? That's where we should even begin from. Okay, why we don't have a problem increasing salaries of politicians, and explaining why they deserve all that money, why we don't have a problem providing extra security for them and giving them a lot of allowances. We don't talk about teachers. So a nation that wants to develop must begin to look at where it puts its money in. Must begin to look at its priorities, action. So you pay your teacher maybe 30,000 naira. I'm just giving an example. Okay, and in fact, some people even pay less. When you hear people's stories, you'll be surprised. So how do you want that kind of nation to grow? Then the children are seeing how much their teachers are paid. Will you even respect that kind of teacher? Or rather, you'll be feeling sorry. We hear of some people say teachers even eat the food of the children in school. These are real issues because these people are just trying to survive. And if you really check it, they are doing that job because they don't have options. And so we need to begin to look at those kind of issues in the country. If somebody is teaching not out of passion, but out of frustration, they're going to take it out on the children. It's going to reflect in the society, it's going to reflect in the results. So those are my views. I don't believe that as a nation we are doing very well acknowledging our teachers. And when I talk about teachers, we are talking about teachers generally on all levels. We are talking about appreciation of education, whether it is at the primary level or at the tertiary level. We do not simply appreciate our teachers enough.
But one I want us also to look at, and which seems to be a growing concern, is the issue of examination malpractice, which indeed has almost turned to a norm and making many feel that we seem not to be there yet. Do you feel our poor handling of our teachers has also contributed to that? Undermining, we do know that societal values seem to have changed, and you gaining or being at the top, irrespective of how you get there, seems to be more appreciated than the effort you put in. But let's bring it to the teaching profession. Do you feel examination malpractice that is bedeviling us as a people is on account of how we badly treat our teachers?
Okay, well, I think it's part of it. So let me give you an instance, Michael.
Yeah.
When I was working in the bank years ago as a bank teller, and so one time a man approached me and he wanted to offer me money to help him do something. I think we had a crowd of people, so he wanted me to help him. And I said he was going to give me money. So I told him, I said, see, you see all these people here? They are paid very well. If any of them collect that money from you to do what they want to do, it's more out of greed than out of need.
Okay.
So now I'm bringing it back to the teachers. A teacher is not paid well. A teacher is struggling to survive. A teacher cannot pay his or her bills. And then there is now an offer that examination malpractice, I'm going to pay you this amount of money, maybe 2 times your salary or 3 times your salary if you can help us do XYZ. Except somebody is very principled or disciplined, or you just simply say no. An average human being will take it.
Yeah.
You jump at it now. So certainly it's going to affect, it's going to lower their decision making ability, it's going to lower their resistance. When I'm not eating and you come and meet me and say, let me just give you this amount of money to just do XYZ, you suddenly feel that it's not an issue now. You'll be glad to do it. So of course, yes, it has a great impact on examination malpractice. But who are the people involved? Is it not teachers that are going to start calling answers for them? Is it not teachers that are part of the process because they are insiders? So they liaise with the other people and then they do this thing.
Okay.
So at that point, the teacher has become commercial because teacher is just trying to survive. Because ordinarily the teacher should and the school authority should be concerned about the future of the children. They should be looking at it that if I continue this way, I'll be these children because they cannot defend this result. But honestly, at that point, the teacher does not care. The teacher just wants to survive. And the teacher is no longer thinking of your child. The teacher is thinking now of survival. And so this is where we find ourselves.
Okay, now, we've really x-rayed all of that and looking at the examination malpractice. I look as if we are really hinching all the blame on the government. But should parents also not also be held responsible on account of how bad our teachers are also being treated and the overall outcome that seems to also bedevil us and our children? Because if we take our minds back to October of 2023, a teacher, one Mr. Sunday Ufua, was killed in Delta State on account of being attacked by the parents of a child who claimed that he did not appreciate the way his child was disciplined on account of his ill action. So my question is, we're putting the blame on government, but do we, Nigerians and parents, also appreciate and respect what these teachers also offer to us as a people?
Well, most time we talk about children being, maybe badly trained or badly raised, or they have bad character.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you that for most children who have that kind of thing, you have maybe times two badly raised parents.
Okay.
Badly raised parents. And we're not talking well about that one. We're not talking enough about that one, because if a parent is badly raised and a parent has bad character, you're going to transmit those things to your child. I was serving in Edo State when a teacher cautioned a boy I think that boy was in primary school,
Okay.
maybe primary 2 or 3, for watching, I think he was watching porn or something in class. I don't know how he got hold of a phone. He was doing something, and then the teacher beat the boy, right? And so the next day, the boy went home, and I think the boy's mother and her brother, they came, and they wanted to bring down the school and humiliate that teacher. They wanted to beat, as in they were dragging the guy, beating him, and then other people were there watching. I was serving there until one of our coppers said, "What kind of human beings are you people?" Even the school could not defend the teacher. So I'm looking at it from different angles. First, it starts with the parents. So now you came to school to fight.
Okay.
Do you not even ask first, what did my child do? It didn't make any sense. They say your child was doing something wrong. Your child at that age was watching videos that they were not supposed to watch. And instead of you to be ashamed and bury your head in shame for poor parenting, you are coming to fight. So it begins from there. When you are going to school to fight, even ask yourself, am I really fighting for the right thing? I'm just simply going to embarrass my generation. Because in a country where values rule or values reign, you won't even open your mouth. You will quietly take your child home, and in fact, you will demand that child be disciplined more. So yes, parents have a lot to do, and many of the things that children do, of course, we know children pick up habits here and there, but before your child goes to display something in public, it probably shows the kind of home they come from.
Okay.
And so we need to spend more time, on our children.
Okay.
Spend more time talking with them. Mind the things you say in their presence. Mind the things you do. Because it's not even a matter of saying, don't do this, teaching you. And they pick up those habits, and they are going to take those things and go display them outside. So yes, once again, I really do agree that parents have a major role to play. They are very, very guilty many times.
Okay, now let's come back to one major issue that you raised, and you're talking about the pay of the teachers. I could still remember in August, a United Kingdom research column, B2B Communication, highlighted that one of the growing problems in Nigeria is the underpay of our teachers. And they also talked about the government not doing enough as it concerns the educational sector. Now, if you take your mind back, the federal government budgeted about 3.25 trillion for education, which is 7% of the 54 trillion naira budget of the 2025 budget. And out of that 3.25 that was budgeted for education, just 1.64 was for salaries of teachers. And we do also know that it's only recently that the federal government only increased the minimum wage to about 70,000 naira. Before that, government schools, especially primary schools and secondary schools, teachers were paid about 49,344 naira, which is barely very inadequate for them to care for themselves and their family. So my next question now, we do know pay is a problem, but do you see an increased pay would not only help to motivate these teachers, but also to bring many other persons into the teaching profession? Because as it stands, we have only 2.4 million teachers in the country, which underscores the importance of having more persons. Do you feel a change in that direction will help? Because we also do know that as of present, we are losing a whole lot of teachers to the United Kingdom and also to countries like Dubai and even Qatar. So my question, can a change of pay help to correct that very factor?
Okay, I believe so. There's a way people that have money think. when you have more money, it changes your orientation, it changes your mind. Okay, that's to a large extent. There are some people, even when they have money, nothing changes. But I'm saying that averagely, when people have money, as in when you appreciate them better or they're in a good working environment,
Yeah.
their mentality changes. Now, because of the pay, we are not only losing teachers to United Kingdom, we are losing teachers to POS, we are losing them to other businesses because they have
Wow.
to survive. They have a side hustle that they need to, because it simply will not work. Some of them are doing home lessons and all that. So what you're even paying them in school, what they make in home lessons is more than what they are being paid in school. So they will even give more focus to their lessons than the school. You get, so these are big issues. Now I'll give you this instance. I was at a program on Saturday where a state governor was talking about what he did. I mean, this is in Nigeria, so I'm just giving you a practical
Yes.
example. He said he noticed that because of the poor remuneration, not only that the remuneration is poor, they don't pay them on time. So in this country now, you have teachers who have not been paid for 2 months. You have teachers who, when school is on holiday, they don't pay them. So how do you expect them to survive within that period? So you notice that a lot of teachers were redeploying from Ministry of Education to other ministries because of the poor pay. And of course, they were being owed salaries for many months. And so at a point, he now decided to increase their pay. So he says in the state, they pay the teachers and doctors more than other people. So first, increase their pay. And then there were lots of benefits, that came with being a teacher. He now asked people to apply. In fact, he now opened it up, not only from your state, any teacher from anywhere, from any state will apply. And he said before they shut down that portal, about 30,000 people had applied to be teachers. Now, you also had people who had redeployed earlier to other ministries.
Yeah.
They were now asking to be brought back to education. So this is just a practical example. If you don't make something attractive or
Attractive.
appealing, why would people want to go there? Why? Why? When we are seeing how the nation is, we are seeing the people that get rewarded. How many teachers have been, apart from some companies that actually take time to now say, okay, we are giving award to teachers and all that. We do shows, we do everything. We spend hundreds of millions of naira. We award things to politicians for doing this, for doing that. How many teachers have been awarded, have we awarded, giving awards, for their outstanding performance and all? Because our children see these things. Go and ask your children now, how many of them want to become teachers? You go abroad, you ask people, some of them will say, I want to be a fireman. I want to be a sixth grade teacher. They will even specify. But because they have seen that the teachers are suffering, you see the way your teacher performs, like Trex, you see the frustration on his face. Why will you want to become a teacher? Or will that teacher now want his own child to become a teacher? Of course not.
Okay, well, Dr. Mike, I will really say we really appreciate your insight, especially as it concerns this. But another major one I want us to look at also is the workload of these teachers. Just recently, in September to be precise, the Nigerian government launched a Future Ready curriculum, which is different from how it used to be. And in that very initiative, they talked about increasing or rather reducing the workload for teachers. And they feel that some of the subjects that is now being taught in our secondary and primary schools should go to indeed rather look at skills development, and not only skills development, but focus on vocational practice and digital and also practical terms as it concerns the school. But a major high point of this new curriculum is the issue of the reduction in number of subjects for each level, which they feel has to come down. Do you feel the workload also is a major factor that is not making the teachers put in their best? And if this curriculum truly goes ahead, do you see that also helping to improve the learning standards in our schools and also indeed lift up these teachers to do more as it concerns less subject being handled?
Okay, I think at the end of the day, it will ultimately depend on the teacher
Okay. But are they not stressed?
themselves.
Is the workload not too much for these teachers looking at the many subjects that they teach?
I believe so. Okay, now look at it this way. So if you have several teachers handling different subjects, the workload will not be much.
Okay. Okay.
So here again, it brings us to our investment in education. So one teacher is going to handle 10 subjects or 12 subjects and all that. But ideally, it shouldn't be so. In a place where we have invested into education and where education is like a gold mine, we treat it like our own oil well. We probably will have different teachers for different subjects. So that is going to reduce the workload. That's one.
Okay.
I went to my child's school some years ago. They had this open day. So as I was talking with the teacher, I was now appreciating the teacher, which a lot of us probably don't do. So I'm putting it out here now. Please take time to appreciate your child's teacher. You know, verbally, you can give them gifts, because it's not easy. So I was telling the teacher, I now say, this work you are doing, I cannot do it. Because I served. I taught when I was serving, and the work was too hard for me. Lesson note and all those things. Now write and update and all that. By the time you finish that one, so it's a lot of work.
Okay.
Sometimes they are always looking edgy and because it's a lot of work. After teaching the children in school, you now have to complete lesson notes because you need to submit it
Yes.
for schools that do that now for supervision. They now have to go through your lesson notes. So you must have written. So see all those kind of things, we even make teachers frustrated. That's why they don't have patience because they are too stressed. So I think to also begin to look at it, schools need to begin to look at it. Government, educationists, organizations, let's come together, put our hands together and begin to see, what we can do. Invest into education. I mean, investment into education is just like you are farming, you are doing something. You may not get the rewards immediately. It might take a couple of years. But this thing we must do if we want our country to change, if we want our values to change, because the wealth of a nation is not in crude oil. The wealth of a nation is in its ivory tower. Is in the place where we dispense knowledge.
Yeah.
And it is how we treat people that will determine their outlook on life. Remember that we have a lot of children, thousands, hundreds of thousands probably, who are going through this educational sector. And when they begin to see how we treat education, it's going to register in their mind. And it's eventually going to reflect in the kind of nation we have tomorrow.
Okay, well, Dr. Mike, I really want us to also, on the mining, we've talked about some of the issues that seem to be affecting teachers. Let's really look at the standard of our teachers. Would you see, do you feel it's up there? Can they also pride themselves as being one of the best in the world? And the reason I'm asking this, I could still remember in August, a Nigerian, 17-year-old Nigerian, Nafisat Abdullahi Aminu, won the best for English speaking in the Teen Eagle Global Finals held in London. And she came top, beating 69 participants, even that from Great Britain itself. And when she came to say more about why she won that award, she attributed it to the effort of her teacher in her very school. So would you say Nigerian teachers are being prided to be one of the best as it concerns how they dish out that education to the children? Should they really raise their head up high to say, well, we seem to be one of the best in the world?
Anybody can be the best in the world if they are given the enabling environment, right? So you have a lot of Nigerians who are average in quotes in this country. But when they go outside and they're exposed to technology, they're exposed to a good working environment, they do very well, they thrive. We've had a lot of students who said they were third class material in Nigeria. When they went outside, they became first class. So it's the same thing. People are not just dull like we assume. A lot of Nigerians, I think that they are dull. They are not dull. Give them the right environment. Give them the right remuneration. Give them the right working tools, give them the right training, give them the right exposure. You'll be amazed at what they can do. We have a lot of talents that are being buried here in the country because of our situation, peculiar situation. So I believe that teachers can thrive, like she said. And we have a lot of Nigerian teachers. Let me tell you, Nigerians abroad are recruiting Nigerian teachers to teach their children online, virtual learning
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah.
So we're very, very good. The only thing we just need to be appreciated more. We need to be accepted. But then again, there's the other side where I told you that a lot of these teachers go into teaching because they have tried every other thing and then there's
Yes.
no option.
Yeah.
So when you have that kind of person who went into it without the passion, they just went into it for survival, it's also going to reflect in the quality of their work. You get? So Nigerian teachers can be the best, but then of course you have people who are not so good, who are just there for the money or who are just there for survival. So that is where our educational system, the schools, we also need to now ensure that you bring in the best brains to teach these children. So it's not like bringing those who are rejected from every area of society, now bring them and now put them in schools. No. Several times in this country, I think about 2 states, teachers wrote tests. They gave some teachers, several years ago, it made headlines. They gave teachers tests. I think it was primary 4 exam, or was it primary 2 exam, and the teacher failed.
Yeah. In Kaduna State.
Those ones are professional teachers. They are just there collecting money and all that. So this is not the kind of nation we want to create. And of course, Nigerians, as usual, they began to bring sentiment into the whole thing when the governor said they should go.
Yeah.
Nigerians began to bring in sentiment. But look, we can't build a great nation on sentiment. That's just the truth. If you want the best, you need to do what other people who have the best have done. They don't apply sentiment. They don't use tribe. They don't use religion. They don't use my village. They don't do that. And so we need to be serious and decide whether we really want a great nation or we don't. If you want to keep doing sentiment and putting your brother and using slots and all that, you are going to rubbish the whole system.
Okay, now, Dr. Mike, before I let you finally go, because we're really out of time, what do you feel the Nigerian government should do to better the lots of Nigerian teachers?
Okay, it begins with appreciating them. Let's even talk about our investment into education. You should be investing more into education than you're probably investing in security. Okay, because I believe that the future of any nation is education. Some of the things that we spend money on, it's not like you shouldn't spend money on them, but if you're able to invest well into education, it's going to reflect on the quality of teachers, it's going to affect the educational sector, it's going to also affect the children. And all these people are going to take that knowledge that they have gained, or they are going to take that investment, and then they are going to give back to the country tomorrow. I also want to encourage, like I said, please, we need to begin to look at endowment funds. We need to begin to look at awards for teachers. My school alumni, my particular class, as said, we give awards to teachers for, best English teacher, best this, best that. We do that to encourage them. Now, when you have this kind of award, it will also encourage the teachers to do well and outdo themselves. So, thank you, Mike.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Michael Mwangwa, for adding your voice as an educationalist and author of many books as it concerns education and what direction the teaching profession should definitely take. We thank you so much for your time and for your insight, especially as it concerns this. And we really would wish that the needed authorities be really looking out and also listening and watching this to see how they can add their own value to improve the life of Nigerian teachers. Thank you so much, Dr. Michael Mwangwa, for this. We truly appreciate your time with us. And well, anyway, it's also more of a wrap on the show today. We talked about the Nigerian teachers, knowing that the world is celebrating teachers on the 5th of October every year. And how can we really celebrate our teachers and help reduce are the 18.3 million out-of-school children in Nigeria, which seems to be the highest globally. It's making about 15% of the total number of out-of-school children in the world. Now, if we do not have the required teachers, how can we help reduce that very growing alarming number that UNICEF seems to have put us? It's the highest globally, and 15% of out-of-school children in the world, 15% of them are here in Nigeria. But anyway, like Dr. Michael Wangwa said, more needs to be done by everybody. Everybody needs to put their hand on deck to see how they can improve the lots of Nigerian teachers. But anyway, we would like to get your reactions, comments, and also contribution as it concerns our major topic today on Dialogue. Please, our social media accounts are all there on your screen. Go drop your comments as it concerns this very particular topic we talked about on Dialogue. And not just only drop your comment, but also do the needful, especially as it concerns appreciating teachers. Yes, when last did you go to your child's school and tell the teacher, well done? When last did you even appreciate them with even a smile or a gift to tell them, well done, I see your hard work, congratulations, you seem to be on the right path? When last you as a parent have done that? And when last did you also say, well, the teachers are doing a great job? But well, anyway, I'll leave that for you to really digest and see how you can improve on that.